Breakfast and brilliant ideas, coffee and conversation, we're serving up that and much more at IBJ Media's events. Join us at an upcoming event and kickstart your day with fresh ideas and new connections. Check out our event lineup and register now at ibj.com/RSVP.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of Monday, October 27th, 2025. I'm Alex Brown. The Maryland-based Electrical Training Alliance is providing a total of $400,000 in funding from Google.org to 3 electrical apprenticeship training partners in Indianapolis, Michigan City, and Fort Wayne. Executive Director Todd Stafford says the funding will help ease the financial burden on the providers.
Having additional funding and support from outside parties directly benefits our industry because we're privately funded. We'll spend close to $400 million nationwide on our electrical apprenticeship programs. So the monies that we get from outside sources, that just helps us expand even more to what we're trying to do on our own already.
The goal of the funding is to not only grow the number of electrical apprentices in Indiana, but also integrate artificial intelligence tools to help them master AI skills. The Applied Research Institute in Bloomington plans to locate the headquarters for Heartland BioWorks, the federally designated technology hub focused on biomanufacturing, at the 16 Tech Innovation District in Indianapolis. The 2-story, 20,000 square foot facility will also serve as a workforce training and innovation center. A gift from University of Notre Dame alumnus Kevin O'Brien and his wife Cynthia is expected to elevate the Notre Dame International Security Center. The gift will endow the executive director position, launch a fellowship to support 2 graduate students and 2 postdoctoral scholars, provide funds for a research seminar, and expand support for a doctoral program for active duty military officers. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.
Hoosier childcare providers are scrambling for ways to stay open as Indiana's freeze on low-income vouchers cramps enrollment and double-digit reimbursement rate cuts eat away at already narrow margins. Here's Gary Dick.
Providers collectively stand to lose an estimated $3.8 million a week, almost $200 million a year, that according to Early Learning Indiana. Low-income Hoosier families can nab vouchers through 2 child care assistance programs, the Federal Child Care and Development Fund and the state-level On My Way Pre-K. About 35,000 children typically participated pre-pandemic. According to the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration, that swelled to nearly 68,000 children in the final months of 2024. FSSA implemented the first wait list for child care vouchers since 2018. Nearly 30,000 children were languishing on the wait list in August, according to an FSSA subsidy dashboard. And last month, the agency announced double-digit reimbursement rate cuts for CCDF vouchers. Voucher losses are hitting Hoosier providers at an estimated $1.9 million weekly, while reimbursement rate cuts subtract another $1.8 million a week, that according to Early Learning Indiana. Some providers are taking action. Jonathan Pruitt, owner of Pit Stop for Kids in New Albany, is gathering fellow area operators to attend FSSA's next quarterly financial reporting meeting on Wednesday, with plans to rally after the child care discussion ends. The Indiana Association for the Education of Young Children is also planning a State House Day on February 5. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
American Water Works and Essential Utilities are merging in an all-stock deal that will create a public water utility worth about $40 billion. The combined company, which will use the name American Water, will have about 4.7 million water connections across 17 states. American Water, through Greenwood-based subsidiary Indiana American Water, provides water to about 1.5 million people in 75 Indiana communities. Essential Utilities operates in Indiana under subsidiary Aqua Indiana, providing water and wastewater service in 14 counties. After more than 2 decades of talk, an expanded convention center in Bloomington is under construction. Mayor Carrie Thompson said on Inside Indiana Business Television that the $71 million project will have significant impact.
We're the number 2 choice for conventions in the state. People want to come here, but for a long time we've been telling people they can't because our convention center is just too small to host what they want to do. So this does a world of good for Bloomington, attracting conventions and meetings to come from not only throughout the state, but from outside of our state as well.
According to Visit Bloomington, the current convention center capacity is around 250 people, and the expanded space will allow groups of up to 600. IU Athletic Director Scott Dolson is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now on the IBJ Media app or your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.
I'm Tiffany Souter, mom of four, wife, entrepreneur, and host of the Life of And podcast. For years, I built my life with brute force, a successful business, a growing family, and absolutely zero margin. I was tired, snappy, and felt constantly behind, and I was too afraid to admit it. Everything changed when I stopped trying to do more and started building systems that actually worked for my real life. If you too are craving more peace, more presence, and just more time for you, I'd love for you to join me on the Life of And. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening to this IBJ Media podcast. You're probably going to remember this ad. Do you know why? Podcast advertising works. 85% of listeners recalled hearing an ad during a podcast, and 70% of podcast listeners have acted after hearing an ad. So whether you're looking to be heard across the entire IBJ Media podcast network, sponsor one of our shows, or just start with a 30-second ad, IBJ Media can help. Contact advertise at ibj.com to learn more.